Welcome to Forest Chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we're talking with Taarna Cam about competition swim coaching. Taarna started swimming at about 5, went straight into pool management as soon as she could, then went on to swimming teaching, and thankfully has found herself now being a competition swimming coach. Welcome to Forest Chat, Taarna.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Great to have you here. Taarna, competition swimming coaching. What's that all about?
Competition swimming coaching is a 6 to 7 day a week job that involves taking people and turning them into competitive races for swimming.
So competitive races, where do they race?
So we can race locally in Perth or nationally. You can even go internationally. For me, my coaching relies around young kids that swim in Bunbury, the southwest, in Perth, and then nationally.
That's where they currently do their competitions.
Yes.
The competitions, who runs those?
Swimming Australia. So Swimming Australia are our main body, and then each state has their own branch. So we come under Swimming WA, and then our swimming club, Australian Swimming Club, they'll come under Swimming WA.
That's the governing body. And What does a swimming competition look like?
Swimming competition looks like arriving at around 7:30 in the morning to get seats, stretching, warm up from 8 o'clock in the morning. And then at about 8:45, we'll start getting ready. The kids will marshal to race. So they'll get put in their seats for their lanes. And then we go from there, racing.
And what are the races? There's different types of races, different distances.
Yep.
How does that all play out?
Different races. So you can do pool swimming. Sprinting would be 50, 100 metre racing. Even 200 metres is considered a sprint these days. Middle distance, 400. And then longer distance, 1500. Also is open water swimming. And that can be from 500 metres up to 10 Ks or whatever you want, really.
Let's swim to South Africa.
Yeah, let's swim to Roto.
And different strokes as well?
Yep, different strokes. So we have freestyle, which is the main stroke, and then you have your form strokes, which is breaststroke, butterfly, backstroke, and then individual medley, which is each stroke.
All 4 strokes?
Yeah, all 4 strokes put together.
Yep, not at the same time because you can't be on your back and your stomach at the same time.
Each lap you switch.
And how many people are getting involved in these competitions?
Many. It depends on where the meet is. Next weekend, we're going to country champs for all the country clubs in WA, and there should be maybe 350 competitors. That's just to give you an idea. It could be anything, but generally it'd be 200-300 swimmers at an event.
So there's quite a few distances, 4 different strokes, and then a whole heap of competitors. How does that play out as a competition? Like, how do they work out who gets the gold?
So they'll have categories. So it depends on which sort of meet you're at. It's generally an age group. So say like 9-year-olds would medal together, 10-year-olds, or it could be 10 and under, 12 to 14, 14 to 16. It just, it depends on which meet you're at and what they've decided for their program.
And how do they deal with 30 people wanting to go for the same competition?
Oh, everything's time-based. So when you're racing, you get seeded into your heats and it will all be on time. So that way that each heat should be fairly across the board.
Oh, a nice even spread of...
Yeah, nice even spread. Yep, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Across each heat. Oh, okay. So then you have a series of heats and then more heats or semis or...
At most of our events, it'll be a timed final, so just one race. However, state championships and national comps, they'll be heats in the morning, and then you'll go through to the top 8 or the top 10, and they'll race finals.
So for a smaller competition, but maybe a regional competition, you swim once and your time is your time.
Yep,
and
that's it.
If you're the quickest, you're it.
Yep, that's exactly it.
And then at a state championship, you do heats, qualify to go into the next round, and then swim again, usually for the medal, I'd imagine.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So depending on the competition, there's different ways that will play out.
Yep, that's it.
And whereabouts do you train?
We train at Leisure Centre in Australian. It's a little 25-metre pool. And yeah, we train out of there 6 days a week.
And how does that go for you?
It's quite challenging actually because the pools, when it was designed, they've made a 6-lane pool into 8 lanes. So our lanes are very thin for what we need. So yeah, it can make it quite hard because I have really quite big teenage swimmers. So their wingspan is starting to become too big to be doing butterfly down the lane. So I've got to think outside the box and work different ways to program it so that we can swim freely. And it gets busy as well. So we don't have as much lane space as I'd like, but we just make it work. You just got to make it work.
And it's been there for a little while?
Yeah, from the 90s. From what I'm trying to go back to see the history of the club because it was, first of all, it was called Leisure Nault Swimming Club. So that was like late 80s, 90s. And then it became Golden West Dolphins. And that was quite hard for people to understand where we were situated because no one knows where Golden West Dolphins was. So yeah, we changed the name to Australian Swimming Club maybe 8 years ago.
But you've maintained that dolphin in your logo.
Yeah, we maintained that.
So that's a good connection still to that time when nobody knew where you came from.
Yeah, and we kept the colours as well the same, and and the dolphin. But it's been a lot better for the club because people know where Australian is.
Yes, it's quite easy to find, isn't it? And how much of the year do you do swimming?
We train nearly 11 months of the year, maybe 10 and a half when I think about maybe the small little breaks that we have. Our season is broken up into 3 sections. So we have over winter, it's called short course where you race in a 25-metre pool. And then we go to long course, which is 50-metre racing. And that will go from October through to December. And then January through to April is our last block. And that leads us up to nationals. And then we'll have a month out of the water just to refresh and, give us time to program for the next season. But, everyone needs to have a break and just step back from the pool because it's a lot. It's a long time.
Yeah, we'll get into a little bit about how much time gets spent. Taarna, what does it take you to be a swimming coach?
The most important thing for me is having my family, my supportive family, because 6 days a week I'm at the pool. Early mornings and late nights. So I'm very lucky that my husband supports me the way he does. He's always helping with dinner and the kids, and he makes me coffee in the morning and he makes sure that I've got ice in my water bottle. And just having that support has been amazing because it is a lot. So for me, the supportive family is like number one. You've got to be passionate as well. Like you've really got to have that desire to want to help other people to be better swimmers. You've got to be organised, punctual. Everything that you're trying to put into your swimmers, you have to also replicate. I always am trying to learn more and stay current with what's happening in the swimming world, not be stale and do the same things. I'm always trying to make it more exciting for the kids. Swimming up and down a black line can be very boring. So, I'd like to try and change things up as well. So, just innovative as well in my coaching.
It's not only about what you get them to do, but it's almost about what you get them to think about while they're doing it.
Yeah, that's it.
You mentioned about being organised. What does that look like?
So, for me, I have to program for our whole club and we have 6 squads. So, I need to have some sort of vision for where we're heading to and how we're going to get there. So I always make sure at the start of the season that I've planned out how I want it to evolve, and then making sure that my programs are in place earlier than, say, just before the session. Like I have to be organised. That way the other coaches know what they're doing as well, because they'll have a look at the session and then if they've got questions, they can come see me beforehand. So I can't just rock up and wing it. I probably could, but it doesn't lead to success if you're just rocking up and winging it. You've got to have some sort of vision of where you want to be heading with your swimmers.
And being competitive swimming, there's some element of you're aiming for success from the start, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so like at the start of October, I know that our pinnacle event is December States and we need to be in prime position to race well in December. Then we have our second biggest race is in January, which is next week, and we can't rest. So while everyone's on Christmas holidays, we're still at the pool as much as the pool will allow us, because they do break for holidays, but Yeah, so even today, like we were back in the pool again. So once we've got through that comp, then we can have a little rest for a week. But then we have to move forward and start building again all the way up to April for nationals.
And where are the nationals being run?
Brisbane.
And you've got some potential swimmers to head that way?
I've got 3 at the moment. Yeah, with national times.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. From a relatively small regional club in Western Australia, that's hitting above your weight.
Yeah, we've been working really hard. That was the kids' goals. They wanted to get to nationals. So, yeah, we've been working hard to get there.
It sounds like some of them are definitely on the way.
Yeah, they are. They are.
You mentioned you've got coaches that also coach the squads. How do you keep a track of all of that?
So I try and work with each of the squads at least once a week. And that way I just find that helps with my programming. That if I can see what's happening in the groups with the swimmers, like I can notice straight away that, oh, maybe that butterfly technique's not looking good. We need to implement some kick or just different technique. I just find that if I work with the kids and I can see what's wrong with their technique, I'm able to fix it, as opposed to if I'm just working on my group, I can't see what everyone else is doing. So I like to keep my finger on what's happening in it with all the kids, because I'm trying to develop the whole club. It's not just about the top end. So for me, I like to see what's happening with my juniors, because they're the future of my club. So it's important that I have an idea of what's happening the whole way through. Important to me that I can see what's happening. Yeah, because it's easy just to see what's in front of you as opposed to the whole club.
That whole club perspective, that's super important.
Yeah, it is. It is to me, because I know that one day those little kids are going to be my future. At the moment, I've got teenagers that are 17 and they're going off to uni soon, which is fantastic. And when they go, they're going to be ready to join a new club and hopefully take their swimming further. But yeah, I'm still going to be here in Australind, and I have to have more swimmers coming through.
So you need to keep an eye on them as they come through,
Yeah,
so that they all get what they need to make it all happen.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you've got them 4 strokes, and like I'm a IM coach, so I like to work on 4 strokes. You'll find some programs might be a distance swimming program or more freestyle based, whereas I like to work 4 strokes, and have IM swimmers.
IM is in individual medley.
Individual medley, yes.
Excellent. All right, I know that much. We've had a good look at what it takes, Taarna, to be a swimming coach. We'll have a break now, and after the break, we'll have a look at what it means. We've had a look at what it takes. Now, let's have a look at what it means. Taarna, what does it mean to you, your family, or the community that you're able to be a swimming coach?
To me, this is probably the happiest I've ever been. Like, I absolutely love being a swimming coach. It takes me away from my family, and they're really proud of me and what I've achieved with my swimming coaching. So I'm lucky that I've got that support. But yeah, you just got to have that love and passion to be able to coach other people's children day in and day out. Yeah, so it does. It means a lot to me to be a successful coach as well. I've been lucky. I've been awarded a few awards for coaching. So it just reiterates to me that I'm doing good things. I've won Bunbury Coach of the Year this year. I've been awarded a appreciation award by the Shire of Harvey for my work as a swimming coach within our shire. And I also won Development Coach of the Year for Swimming WA. So that was pretty exciting as well.
Absolutely. They're wonderful recognition.
Yeah, they are.
And my wife Caroline swims, and she sees you coaching from time to time when she gets there, and she can see just how well your coaching is received by the kids as well, and how positively impactful it is.
Yeah, it's been a long journey, but like over the last 5 years, I can see how far the club's come, and my swimmers they're teenagers now. Like when I first become head coach, they were like 9, and now they're teenagers and becoming really good swimmers, really good competitive swimmers. And yeah, to see them growing and how well they're doing, not only at swimming, in school and outside in other sports, and that I just know that I'm helping to make and create successful people.
A lot of sports are quite interesting, but swimming in particular, you're there early, you're there late. What does that do to the kids that makes it so valuable to them?
Oh, they just become so disciplined. I've had many swimmers that, because we get up early, we arrive at the pool at 5:15 in the morning, and they become easily employable because they're punctual. They turn up on time. Yeah, they really become successful because they've got that discipline. That's what I'm instilling in these kids. Yeah, discipline.
What does it mean to you that you're also a successful coach?
I'm not one to talk about my successes. So for me, we just went to senior states in December. And one thing that I realised was that it was the first time that I had all my swimmers making finals. And then we also managed to get a timekeeping seat because I had so many swimmers in finals. And that to me is just massive amounts of growth from when I first took over. I had 2 swimmers at states, made 1 final, and then this year I had them all in finals. And I just sat back and I just quietly happy when I look at where we were and where we are now. It's like, oh wow, because you don't actually see it. You've got to go back in time. And I'd read a couple of posts that come up in my memories, and it was like, oh, we have grown, and we are successful. We're thriving. Yeah, we're a thriving country club. And I'm looking forward to next weekend because I really strive to be the best country club. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding, so to speak.
Yeah, it is.
In the results with how you go next weekend
Yeah.
is a key indicator. It's only one indicator too of your success, because you've already mentioned some of the other indicators in the kids' lives.
Yeah.
You had an interesting story before we got onto the interview about the swimmers that you had that were very successful at the States.
Oh, I do. So, I've got some amazing swimmers. One of them is a S19, which is autism, multi-class swimmer, and he broke 3 Australian records for S19 swimming. One was the 15-year-old 100 back, and the other was the open 100 back. And he also broke a 50 fly. So, Australian records is amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it
And
is.
then you had some more success as well. That's only the start of it,
Oh,
isn't it?
we won some medals. Lexi, she's 17. She made 4 open finals for the first time. She's never made an open final before. And she ended up winning silver and a bronze medal. So that was super exciting for her.
Seeing that effort pay off.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, they've been working really hard, and they deserve all the successes.
How does your role benefit the swimmers in the community?
So not only are we working with our swimmers in the pool, but we're also working with them outside of the pool. We tend to do a lot of work on our strength and conditioning, and the kids go to a program at a gym, ARC, and do their strength conditioning and core work there. Then also we're always working on psychology, making them confident, working on nerves. Yeah, just getting them to become confident in what they're doing, because we can go to a swimming comp and you get all nervous behind the blocks and you second guess yourself, and it's like, no, you know what you're doing. So we're trying to instill that confidence and resilience into them, and over time you can just see them grow from anxious behind the blocks to these strong, independent and confident young people that are not scared to get up against the big boys next to them. You might only be little, but it doesn't matter. You can race anyone. If you've got good technique and you've got the desire, you can do anything.
And that has so many positive benefits for their mental health down the track, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Yeah, just so many good things come from swimming.
Yeah, you're able to have small goals that you achieve every day. The first one's getting in the water, but after that, you've done so many sets, you've completed your hours of training, you've actually swum the program that you've been given. So every day you're getting positive confirmation of achieving some goal, even if sometimes they're set by the coach rather than you individually.
Yeah.
But you have achieved it, and it's amazing to be able to achieve.
Because we do a lot of goal setting with the kids. And it can be from small goals to outrageous goals, but we'll have something for training, something short term, something end of season, and then something long term. And yeah, we just chip away at working it towards their goals, and they can tick them off, and they're so proud of themselves when they see how far they've come. I also do a lot of sets in training and I'll take photos of them. I'll record their results, and then 2 months down the track, I pull it back up and we'll do the same set again, and we can compare. And yeah, they can see that all the work they're doing is showing progress. And that's one of the most important things with competitive swimming, is that you actually do race. Sometimes people want to use it as a fitness tool, which is great because you're going to get super fit if you're doing competitive training for swimming. But it just, yeah, sometimes you need to be doing the racing as well, just to show you what you're actually training for.
It gives you that extra little bit of push on a particular day that you can really step out of yourself. And
yeah, the results are everything. And look, you're not always going to get amazing results. Something might happen, but it's just get back in the pool, get back to training, and we go again. So sometimes things don't always go to plan. and like when I was talking about the psychology, we talk a lot about nutrition as well, and looking after our bodies. And I often refer to our bodies as cars. Are you fueling your car to be a Ferrari, or are we fueling it to be a mini moke? And yeah, I had one swimmer who wasn't looking after themselves as well as what they should have been, and nutrition was out the window. We weren't eating. 2 boiled eggs isn't going to cut it when we're doing 4 or 5K sets. Like, it's just not going to cut it. And yeah, they swam really bad, but it was how he turned himself around. I just had to say, look, I'm disappointed in what you've done. You haven't looked after yourself, and proof is in your results. And that was it straight away. Water, nutrition was back on point, and we turned everything around. We made finals again for the next 2 days at States, PBs for every race. Like, we did really well. So yeah, sometimes things don't go to plan, but it's how we learn from it, and then make the changes, which counts.
And it's a part of the all-around swimming coach role, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Oh, it never ends. I'm their psychologist. I know when they're feeling sick. I can just tell by looking at them if they're off. I spend so much time with them. Yeah, I can turn into a counsellor for relationships, advice for mum and dad. There's so many things that go into being a swimming coach. Help with homework. Yeah, there's so many things.
It's amazing, and so many different meanings and positive meanings for both you and for the swimmers.
Yeah, but I've become quite close with them. I never really realised how close until something happens, and they look to me. I have an old swimmer that when she bought her first car, she sent me this picture to show me, look what I've done. And I was so proud of her because she'd worked really hard to buy her first car. And I love that she thought of me to show, because I was just so proud of her. Yeah, it's lovely that you don't realise that sort of impact that you make on people until something like that happens.
Yeah, and there's an opportunity to show it, but you also have to be ready to accept it.
Yeah, that's right.
So you do a lot of work with the children, and you mentioned briefly the parents earlier. What sort of work do you do with the parents?
Oh, our parents, they play a massive part. I often call it's like a triangle. So we have the coach, the parent, and the swimmer. And the parents are so important because they are the ones that are getting the swimmer to training on time. I have to rely on them to enter their swimmers in races. They're the ones that are funding it all because swimming's not cheap. It's very expensive. Nutrition, they're the ones that have to buy the food. And a lot of the time they'll be with their kids in the stands, and they are the ones that have to nag them to eat and to be on top of what they're putting into their mouths because they buy the food. But I rely on them heavily to help with that. It's expensive to be a swimmer. So just a racing suit for teenagers can be up to $1,000 for girls. Boys could be $500. Goggles, $60. A race is, States it's $20 a race. At Nationals it's $50 a race. So it's a very expensive sport, and when you're doing, say, 8 races a meet, it adds up. So yeah, parents are vitally important, yeah, in the triangle of being a competitive swimmer.
So you're not only a coach for the kids, but you're a coach for the parents as well.
I often am sharing a lot of information. A lot of it revolves around nutrition. It's just so important because we're swimming so many kilometres a week. And yeah, I'm often looking to make sure that they're fueling their bodies enough. Just don't want them to run into any issues from not fueling enough, because once reds, they call it reds, once that sets in, it's very hard to see it coming. It's just suddenly that your swimmers start breaking down and yeah, they'll be sick a lot. Yeah, they're exhausted actually, and they won't be progressing. And a lot of that has to do with how they're eating. So yeah, the parents have got a super important job, because I'm often sharing information about food and how much you're eating, and this is how many calories we burnt tonight, and we're going to make sure that we're fed enough and that we're eating again at 5 o'clock in the morning before we train again. And yeah, they have a big job.
And do they do good?
Oh, they do amazing. They do amazing. Yeah, they're very supportive. They volunteer around our club for our committees, timekeeping duties, keeping the kids fed, having them arrive on time to meets and training. Yeah, they do an amazing job.
There are so many positive meanings that come from being a swimming coach. We'll have a break now, and after the break, we'll have a look at how you do it. We've had a look at what it means. Now we'll have a look at how you do it. Taarna, how do you become a competitive swimming coach?
So to become a swimming coach, you generally will start off by finding a club. So you could be a parent in a club that's decided, oh, you know what, I wouldn't mind helping out. Because generally that's how you start out, like volunteering. Swimming clubs always need coaches. You might have had a swimming background. Not everyone has a swimming background. You might just generally be interested. So once you've approached your head coach or your committee, they'll start having a look into coaching courses. And in WA and in Australia, we start off with a foundations course, and it's very basic. They'll take you through the basics of each stroke and how to coach it. Yeah, to pretty much to teach it. Yeah, it's very basic course. And then you'll shadow a coach on pool deck. So shadowing's just walking up and down the side of the pool with the coach and listening to them coach and watching what they do, having a look at their programs. After the course, a little bit, it's not a lot, but there'll be a couple of programs that you might have to write up with the help of your head coach, and maybe a little bit of theory. And then once you've done all that, send it off to Swimming Australia and it gets marked, you're good to go. But only at a lower level of coaching. To then move on to the higher levels of coaching, we have a development course, and then that starts to get more into the nitty gritty of coaching. So you'll learn how to use a stopwatch, more how to program for a season, how to write sets for daily sessions. You'll spend more time shadowing coaches and listening and watching, and you may even get a go at coaching the higher levels, but it will all be supervised. And then once you've done that for a year, then you've got the opportunity to go on to an advanced coach. And that's a university course now. They do it through the University of Victoria. And that's a year and 100 hours of shadowing a higher level coach on pool deck. You'll definitely get into the nitty gritties of being a swimming coach. Psychology, the strength and conditioning side of swimming. You'll work on talent identification, technique, more programming, and they'll go into the programming side for a really high level competitive swimming club. So yeah, it gets quite intense when you go to the advanced. The next one after that is the pinnacle, like where I think it's 3 years to do the next level, and that would be for an Olympic level coach.
That's pretty intense. There's not a lot of them around.
Yeah, there isn't. It's a lot. And that's where I would have to go to. And as much as I love my swimming coaching, I'm not in that position in Australind to be that level coach. So I've looked at it, but I don't know if I'd follow that unless I was living in the city. Yeah, it's a big commitment, 3 years for a course.
It's a degree level course, 3 years of
It is.
university style study.
It is. And yeah, you have to have that level of swimmer as well. And you've got to be able to shadow that level coach as well. So yeah, I definitely have to be in the city to be able to do that. And yeah, being in Australian just wouldn't work.
It's quite a commute.
Yeah, 2 hours is a long way.
What's your journey been like becoming a swim coach?
Oh, I've had a different journey, not a straightforward journey. At the very beginning, we talked about how I was a swimmer and then I became a pool manager. And at the time, I was 17 and the local swimming club needed a coach for their little tadpole group. So I'd done my swimming teacher course. So I used to help out with that. And then I also helped out with the adult triathlon group that our swimming pool used to run a session for once or twice a week. So I used to help out with that. But it wasn't really till I had my own children and they were ready to join swimming club. And the second they joined, I just knew that I wanted to be involved and they needed coaches. So I just jumped like 2 feet in. And since then, I've not looked back. I've absolutely loved being a swimming coach. It's definitely my passion. Enough to take me away from pool managing and from swimming teaching. I just wholly and solely, love swimming. Never imagined that I'd be a head coach, but over time I just learnt more and shadowed and love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, that's how I've gotten to where I am.
It's so good to have a good news story like that.
Yeah, it's been great. I'm happy and I'm happy doing what I do, which is great.
What's up next for your swimmers?
So next weekend we're off to country champs. So all the country clubs in WA will all meet in Perth and that's one of our biggest meets for our club as a whole. March, we have country pennants and that's in Mandurah, which is fantastic because it's an hour down the road and we can just drive. And that I'm really I'd love to win a grade pennant. That would be my ultimate. That's one of my goals, my own personal goals, is to win the A grade pennant. You have to have a full contingent of a team. So you need to be able to fill all the ages and the relays. So I'm hoping that this year we can fill them, but fill them well enough to win enough points to win the A grade pennant. And then in April, we are off to Nationals, and Nationals is in Brisbane, so that's exciting. So that'll be my first actual time going to Nationals as a coach. Last year, my swimmers went and I had other coaches help out, so I'm pretty excited for my first Nationals as a coach. And then I completely forgot, we have coming up at the end of January our very first swim meet in Collie. So Collie run the Collie Open every year, and this year they were just looking for some help. So our swimming pool's too small to hold a swimming meet, and their swimming pool's perfect for a swim meet, but they haven't got the numbers. So yeah, our club's going to combine with them and we're going to have the very first Collie Australian Open. So that's really exciting.
Fantastic. And it sounds like each club brings a different strength to the game.
Yeah, well, Collie have always had their meet and we've never had the opportunity to run a meet. So whilst we've got the numbers to help out, they've got the experience on how to run a meet. So yeah, that'll be exciting as well.
Sounds like a great collaboration.
We're happy to help them. They are only a little club and they only run, say, 6 months of the year. And yeah, we work with them often. So yeah, it's nice to be able to help our friends out and they're helping us out as well. So yeah, we'll be able to do some fundraising.
Well, if there's a link for the fundraising, I should put it in the show notes.
Oh, yeah, I'll send one through.
Well, thank you very much, Taarna, for being a guest on Forest.chat. And all our Forest.chat listeners wish you all the best with your future endeavours, which are super exciting and coming up really soon.
I know, it's going to be a big year.
You've been listening to Forest.chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we talked with Taarna Cam about being a competitive swimming coach. Remember, there are 4 ways to get involved with Forest.chat. Share the domain Forest.chat with your friends and family and people you meet. When you sign up for the emails, you receive advance notice of the episodes. Listen to the episodes at forest.chat/episodes. If you do something interesting and want to be a guest, book an interview at forest.chat/interview. If you want to help out a local business, book an advert at forest.chat/advert. I'm looking forward to joining you with our next guest. Until then, enjoy making it happen.